So the work on this underside restoration is now complete, and we're just signing off and handing over to the customer. So I thought I'd show a finished effect of everything fitted. Remember, this is a car that the customer kindly supplied a lot of powder coated items for, and some of the bushes, the suspension and things like that. And then we supplied some final things like drive shafts, an exhaust which was just on a few thousand miles. We've got a lovely Mealtech exhaust system here on the vehicle, and this has come out really, really well. It's evolved quite a lot from what was originally just a underside corrosion removal and treatment and resealing, to then getting close to a restoration, nearly a complete restoration. There are a couple of things that the owner may want to do as they move forward, like the under trays. Maybe they could be replaced in the future, but really apart from that, we are looking at a complete refresh, overhaul. Lots of items refurbished, like the differential casing, the new diff rear cover, new shock absorbers, calipers overhauled. Obviously all the powder coated items, and for those to be powder coated, everything has to be stripped and removed. So it's new bushes up in the trailing arm section, new ball joints down at the lower and the upper joints, new wheel bearings, new handbrake system. And then we've got new anti-roll bars, which obviously come with the bushes, which come with the H&R roll bars, new subframe bushes, new diff bushes, all the new bolts. So the customer also was kind enough to send all the bolts for a zinc plating, which is why they've got obviously a yellow sort of passivate finish, which looks really nice and a really original sort of texture. Obviously it's had new brake lines front to rear, and you can see there's one of them up there. Every area underside of the vehicle and into the rear arches has been taken care of with corrosion removal, assessment, then first removal, then treatment, and then the sealers and the paints to make sure that it is fully protected for years to come. Obviously finished in our trademark Reedish Motorsport E-Coat colour, which gives quite an original look and colour to the underside. And now this car can be safely driven all year round with not having to worry about corroding in the future. Also done extensive cavity waxing. You can just see some of the yellow cavity wax in the chassis leg there. All of the sections and the boxes and underneath, above the rear axle carrier panel, in the front and the rear, anywhere where there's a hollow section has had good cavity waxing, so that we know everything is protected very, very well for future years of usage. And then we've gone up towards the front as well. So the cats are original, but the front under tray has been aqua blasted. Then it's got the original, new bolts which have been passivated, or yellow zinced as people call them. The front section is also being worked on extensively, so the front kingpins have been dealt with. Also front backing plates, new tie rods which have been separated and greased with a copper, I'll get it right, with a paste which basically allows them to be fully protected so that they're never going to corrode. This is one thing that they always suffer with the years in the future. When people come to do the wheel alignment, they can never unseize this joint here. So we make sure that the threads are well protected. H&R anti-roll bars on the front. Front new control arms, which are the wishbones. New anti-roll bar drop links. New front suspension struts. The calipers, which have been overhauled. Obviously new nuts, new bolts. Then we've got shock absorbers, springs, all of the equipment up there inside the spring, so around the shock absorber, like the top mount, the bush, the bump stop, and also the dust shield has also been replaced and renewed, as has the front subframe. That's been powder coated by the customer in their original matching colour, which matches the rear items. And we've got engine mounts as well that have been installed up there. Same thing on the other side, obviously, but it's a little bit more light this side, so you can see it a little bit clearly. Looks really good. Really, really pleased with this one. Very happy. And that is pretty much the end of it. So it's 95% underside restoration. Like I say, there's a couple of things, some new heat shields one day maybe, and a cat section, but apart from that, it is in remarkable condition. Bear in mind the car is a 2002 model. So it certainly doesn't look anything like the original cars that are out there on the road. It's had the Reedish Motorsport treatment, and it's going to drive fantastically, drive and feel like new with all the new rubber bushes, ball joints, wheel bearings, suspension shock absorbers and springs. It's visually pleasing and enhanced to look at, and also more importantly it's protective. It's not got any corrosion on it anymore, and it certainly isn't going to have any corrosion because it's all been taken care of and treated. So we're now going to go out and do some final road test checks and then be handing over to the customer.